And I'll listen. Hold on a second. Oh. An umpire and a vampire review movies week after week outside their own strike zone. This week's movies, the 1983 Stroker Race and the 1987 The Hidden. Starring Burt Reynolds, Mike Norrie, Lonnie Anderson, Claudia Christian, Kyle McLeod, Ned Beatty, and Gomer Pyle. Shazam, Shazam, Shazam. Now two guys who can't stand Russian dolls because they're so full of themselves. What? Jeff Miller, Tim Kretschmann.
What? Did we just declare war?
No.
Okay.
You know those little Russian dolls that are...
Well, I'm used to you declaring war on the show.
I never declare war. I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Okay. Hey, welcome everybody. You are watching... It's a little early for that. You are watching Dead on the Bases.
DOTB. Sorry. I will not interrupt again.
I'm the Vamp, so I naturally have to watch sports movies. I give horror movies to my friend, the Jeff Miller. Jeff just finished watching Hocus Pocus 2, and he's proud to say he only hid under the sofa once, and he had an adult diaper, so the damage was minimal.
Stop. I haven't even seen Hocus Pocus 1. They're ridiculous.
Because it's much more frightening.
They're ridiculous.
That's the scary one. There's a candle that burns black.
So, what does that mean? What do you mean burns black?
If you don't know, I can't help you.
What do you mean, the flame is black?
The flame is black. The black candle.
Wow. That's weird. I've never seen that before.
Well...
I bet you
You're unlike all those little kids that watch that movie.
I bet you that's where they got black lights from.
That's probably it. You
should have black lights in here.
This week, I gave Jeff the excitement of getting to watch The Hidden. Movie from 1987.
Wow, don't even know.
And Jeff subjected me...
I'd say it. Okay. To Stroker Race with Lonnie Anderson and Burt Reynolds and Ned Beatty and Gomer Pyle. Well, I mean, Jim Neighbors. And then Parker Stevenson.
And you know what? I just noticed I'm looking over at the IMDb that you have open over there.
Yeah.
I like that poster so much better than the official poster that we're showing here. Uh-huh. But both of them are all about Lonnie Anderson looking like she's getting goosed. In one way or another, it's Burt looking lascivious behind Lonnie Anderson, and his hand is where you can't see it.
And look at the three actors on the side. It's kind of like a Brady Bunch thing where they're all...
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. I don't think much of this poster, but there's a lot I didn't.
So you would have liked this one better, this other one better.
That one I think is better. It's a painted version. I wish I could throw it up there for.
Why can't you?
But because we are in the middle of a huge show. Can't you just
drag it? Can I drag it over there?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, this is lame. And my computer at work.
Oh no!
My computer at work, I can move things back and forth from one screen to another.
You have a separate computer over there from mine. Oh. And the reason for that is we wanted the show to go out.
Out.
Yeah.
Out. What do you mean?
Out, so that people could see.
Oh, gotcha.
If you were in charge of it, that would be questionable.
Questionable.
Right.
Right.
Okay, let's get things started. And the best way to start the show is with me. I'm being absolutely serious. We all know this to be a fact. So,
why am I in the corner?
Why are you also in the background over there? Let's move this a little bit.
I know.
There we go.
People are going to think that I have a twin.
I don't think anybody thinks that would be a good
Double
idea.
trouble. Now we're going through an earthquake.
Whoa.
Do you need me to move one way or the other?
You know what? I don't care.
You like to have that Green Bay G in there, don't you? I can't even... Where did it go? Oh, there.
Jeff, before we get too far, why don't you show off your hat? Because this is all you're going to be doing.
Right there. Where is that? Farm and Fleet. Or Fleet and Farm. Whoa. Fleet and Farm. But the nice thing...
No, it's Fleet Farm. There's no and.
You don't know. But then the cool thing about this is that on the back.
Muskego, Wisconsin.
Where you are talking to the next mayor.
Right. All right. So I watched 1983's.
But wait, one thing, and I'll let you, and I will not interrupt.
Right.
But one thing about this is that I did go up and get my hat. And guess who I didn't see there? Mayor Rick. So who was there talking to the people? The future mayor, Jeff Miller. Okay, go ahead.
I watched 1983's Stroker Ace. This is another movie. Burt Reynolds did a lot of movies with Hal Needham. He directed Burt Reynolds in The Longest Yard, which we've had on the show.
Yep.
Cannonball Run, which we've had on the show.
Yep.
And Smokey and the Bandit, which somehow you're going to try to think some way is a sports movie and try to sneak in here as well. I'm surprised you haven't declared that Dukes of Hazzard is a sports TV show or something and tried to get me.
They're racing against the law. Spinderella.
Well, actually, that's part of this. At the beginning of the movie, they're doing some moonshine running, and that is actually how NASCAR got started.
Mm-hmm.
And during that same scene, they name check the book that this is based on. There was actually like printed words on pieces of paper for this gigantic cinematic masterpiece that they adapted this book.
Tim is trying to be very nice right now.
Movie. I'm looking at the damn bell over there. The book was called Stand on It. And, they say stand on it, which means, push the pedal to the metal there, which they don't say one time in the whole movie. They don't say pedal to the metal.
No.
I was listening for it. But this movie is kind of an interesting case. According to my NASCAR expert, this was about the time that NASCAR was really starting to pick up. NASCAR was kind of discovered based on the wide world of sports. What was that for?
Taking care of Swolbat.
What?
Got to ring the bell.
Why?
You said damn.
Oh.
Now I got to ring it.
Big. All right.
Let's get back to the history of NASCAR.
If you're going to start ringing it for that, I got to make it to the end of this review. My goodness. Anyway, it's kind of interesting to watch from the aspect of this being kind of early in the NASCAR development.
Okay.
We'll talk more about that in a bit. I thought it was interesting that the theme song that they play at the beginning was done by Charlie Daniels Band. It sounds so much like The Devil Went Down to Georgia.
It does.
It isn't even funny. In fact, my brother thought that it was. We were watching it together. He's like, "This is The Devil," and I'm like, "No, it isn't. It's different, but it's not too different." I said, "I bet this is Charlie," and sure enough, boom, Charlie Daniels Band goes up on the screen. Now, to give everybody an idea what this movie is, this is one of those car movies that Burt Reynolds did with Hal Needham. Hal Needham, keep in mind, he was a director that was a stunt coordinator, so he loved doing car stunts. That was his thing. This movie is actually a remake of the Muppet movie, which
whatever.
The Muppet movie was about a frog leg. A guy that had a frog leg, a franchise.
You can do it, Tim. You can pull it together. Come
frog leg restaurants, and he wanted to hire somebody to do his promotional pitch work.
Yeah.
He had a horrible comedian sidekick. Our protagonist, and there is a human performing the job of a jack in both movies. This is a remake.
So if this Muppet movie was, if you were going to make a Muppet movie about this, who would be the driver? Gonzo, right?
Which driver?
Burt Reynolds.
Burt Reynolds is Kermit.
But it's a frog leg. It's a frog leg company, though.
And right. And
Miss Piggy would be Lonnie?
Do you not remember Muppet movie?
I never saw it.
Okay, in the Muppet movie, it is a frog leg restaurant chain, and they're trying to hire Kermit the Frog to be the spokesman.
All right.
And he just keeps going, all I can picture are millions of frogs on little crutches.
Oh my God.
It's great stuff.
With prosthetic legs.
What a great movie. This is not a great movie, but they remade this. Okay, so like Fozzie Bear's character would be Jim Neighbors.
Okay, I can see that.
Now, Jim Neighbors, here's his character. He's Gomer Pyle. He has not developed as an actor. In fact, this was the period in his career where he wanted everybody to know he had a beautiful singing voice, which he does. He's a beautiful singing voice. So they somehow like put in a scene where he's singing for no reason whatsoever.
I know. I thought the same.
It was like, why is this scene in here? So that everybody knows that Gomer Pyle can sing. They have a scene, by the way, where he does say, which they must have been told you can do it once because they only did it once. Otherwise, it would have been busted out a lot more because they were throwing everything at the wall to see what stuck. Now, this movie also stars Ned Beatty, who you remember from our last week in Rudy. This is a less subdued performance. This is a little more manic Ned Beatty in this film. It's kind of like Maniac. Look it up.
No, I'm thinking Manic, like Manic Monday by the Bengals.
That's a great song.
Susanna Hoffs is great.
Oh my God.
She was in the All Nighter. Did you see that?
She's still beautiful, by the way.
She is.
I follow her on Instagram, and sometimes she sings a cappella in there. She could sing better than Gomer Pyle.
I follow her on TikTok. Yeah. Hey, but did you see the All Nighter when her only movie?
I have not. I'm gonna add that to the.
I went to that. I went to whatever movie theater it was. I don't even know which. The one up by where the Pet World is and all that now.
Oh,
I went
Southgate.
Yes, I went to Southgate and saw the All Nighter.
Southgate was a great. That was a great theater.
Yeah.
All right.
Santa Hoffs.
Now, this is also the movie. Probably most people know this movie because this is where Burt met Loni, and this is where there is a horror movie connection because Loni turns out to be an absolute monster. In real life.
Poor Burt.
Yeah. I mean, you literally think, poor Burt. Parker Stevenson, who at the time was best known for being one of the Hardy Boys. He went on to be in Baywatch for a season or two. But he plays kind of we'll talk more about this, but he's initially set up as the villain of the piece. And he like wrecks Stroker Race in the first couple minutes of the movie. I mean, in the first couple minutes, and he just wrecks him out. So what does Stroker Race do? Which is Burt Reynolds, by the way. Burt Reynolds decides this would be a great reason to attempt murder on my sponsor. Let's pour concrete in the back of my car and kill this man.
Yes.
So that's the first attempted murder. This is not the only case of attempted murder in the film. Now, what I think this movie is most interesting for is getting to see NASCAR at this particular time, seeing the cars that they were driving. And take a look. You can see on the screen right now, you'll see a couple of what the people were wearing and driving. Because back then, the shirts had one or two logos. One of them was STP. Uh-huh. You know, STP was on absolutely everything. There might be a Valvoline. But there was like, look at that. Yeah. There's only a couple patches. Now, I mean, it looks like a wallpaper.
And there are patches that dealt with racing or cars or automobiles or gasoline. Right. They're not Chick-fil-A.
Well, now we added chicken, and that's really kind of what they were making fun of, which was funny because the whole idea of commercialism in NASCAR, at that point, it hadn't gotten as out of control as it is now. It is completely out of control. They opened the hen house, and the foxes live in there rent free. I mean, so it's kind of funny that they're making fun of, oh, there's this chicken restaurant that's sponsoring these guys. Well, little did they know that's pretty well all NASCAR would be at some point in their history. One of my favorite things was they did a lot of panning in the crowd. Unbelievable amount of shirtless fans. A lot of shirtless fans.
Rednecks.
Confederate flags all over the place. I mean, they took a lack of sophistication to whole new levels. Now, let me get down to the review.
Let's get down to it.
The problems with this movie are many.
There was no problem.
It isn't like one problem. Like, the jokes weren't working. You could tell these were jokes that they thought, we've done, 35 movies in a row. They've all been hits. We don't have to try that hard. These will land. They didn't. In fact, this movie, a lot of times Burt Reynolds would refer to this movie as the beginning of the end for his career.
Really?
This was his first car film that flopped out there. And when I was watching, I'm like, the timing is off. Because if you watch the movie like we did, we watched it and we were only two people in the room, my brother and I. They would say a joke and then just be silent for about 5 seconds. And the reason was they thought the theater was going to have to settle the hell down.
Yeah. Oh.
They thought we got to give this joke some room, because it's going to be bedlam. The problem was the jokes weren't funny, so it looks like they're saying, knock, knock. Who's there? It's like they're counting off in their head. Here's how long we have to leave because this is a good one.
Yeah.
This is a good one. There were some times that I almost felt like laughing. I'll bring one up a little bit later. But it was... You put up with a lot to get to those. Now, the villain, Parker Stevenson, we were talking about him. Not sure he's the villain. He's more of like just a rival. He actually seemed like a nicer guy than Stroker Ace. I mean, he seemed like he was frustrated that he wasn't winning at the beginning of the movie. But he at no time poured concrete on anybody. He didn't do a lot of the passive-aggressive stuff that Burt Reynolds was doing in Ned Beatty throughout the film. He didn't try killing Parker Stevenson, Burt Reynolds, like Parker Stevenson was the second attempted murder by Burt Reynolds, by pushing Stevenson on a cart through a window. That would not end well in real life. If you push somebody through a window, first of all, hitting a window's pretty hard substance to break.
Well, those are...
So you don't want to break that with your face. Then it also, and this is kind of an interesting fact, windows will break into basically knives you go through. So when you see people go through glass in the movies, it's candy glass.
Yeah. Say he knew he wasn't going to get hurt. He knew he wasn't going to get hurt.
All right, but that was the second attempt to murder. Now, the chemistry between Lonnie and Burt, not good.
It didn't seem to. It
didn't pop. No. And it's all the more ridiculous because in real life they fell in love. Basically from this movie, and it took him like 5 years to get her in the boat. I mean, he had to date her a long time.
Before this movie?
No. This movie, and that was like 4 or 5 years before he got married. I'm sure I'm being fact-checked right now. So, I'm kind of like, this is when the spark should have been there.
Right.
Not by the time that, I guess I got to marry this girl,
Hey, Tim, just real quick about this while you take a sip of your blood there. But when I watched this movie and I did some research on it, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Burt Reynolds passed up the role of Terms of Endearment for this.
Yes.
And he kind of kicked himself for that.
Jack Nicholson's Oscar-nominated turn in Terms of Endearment. Yeah. Well, Burt Reynolds, at the time this movie was made, like, I would say 1 week before this movie was made, Burt Reynolds was the biggest movie star in Hollywood. He was it. He owned it, okay? He made this movie, and it was a long slide. I think Smokey and the Bandit 2 came after this one. There were a lot of movies that did not do well after this.
What I read is that he felt like he owed the director
Hal Needham.
Felt like he owed him this. That's why he passed on terms.
Right. Hal Needham and him were best friends.
Yeah.
They really were.
Yeah.
That was they collaborated many times. Now, let's talk about Lonnie. Lonnie gets sexually harassed pretty well throughout the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, the first time you see her, they reenact, and it's one of the clips I have up here. They reenact the Marilyn Monroe, air pushing up her dress. Okay, so it's like immediately, oh, this is the movie that we're about to watch.
Yep.
But it kind of goes back and forth between, are we going to address the elephant in the room, which is that Lonnie is an extremely healthy girl, or are we not? Which is kind of weird. Like, there's this weird sexual harassment scene, which I consider like a almost rape with Ned Beatty. I mean, he all but says, "Squeal like a pig for me," to her, or "You got a pretty mouth." It's like they're reenacting Deliverance in that room. That was really bad, but that's okay. He's the villain. I expect him to do reprehensible things. 10 minutes later in the same movie, Burt Reynolds gets her so drunk that she passes out, and literally there's a 15-minute scene of him basically going hubba hubba and doing various things to her unconscious body, taking off her clothes, etc. Unbelievable. And then in another scene, and we got a clip of it up here, and obviously horror movie connection, I noticed it very well, as Elvira comes on. She's at the height of her popularity. They put her on for 20 seconds, and the only joke they can come up with, this is Elvira, the mistress of the dark. She's all involved in horror movies, all this stuff. The only joke they have is, let's have Gomer Pyle stare at her rack. That is the entire joke, is that he can't. Now, he's around Lonnie Anderson the rest of the movie. You don't get that same thing. I think the Elvira scene comes well before they meet Lonnie Anderson. I think they could have had a good running joke with Jim Nabors just being unable to speak every time she was around. That would have been staring at her. It wouldn't have been a sophisticated joke, but this movie was not going for sophistication.
You know what I was going for? It's down south. They're down south. What they should have had is the Oak Ridge Boys in the back playing Elvira when she was in there. That would have been cool.
Okay. What they should have done after one day of Jim Nabors, and I love Jim Nabors. I love Jim Nabors. But after one day of him on the set, they should have fired him and brought in Jerry Reed or Dom DeLuise.
Oh, sure. I can see Dom DeLuise.
Dom DeLuise would have taken it very funny.
Yes, he would have.
Jerry Reed would have been more a partner in crime.
Yeah.
Either one of those would have worked better.
Yeah.
Jim Nabors kind of splits the difference and doesn't deliver.
He doesn't deliver, but you're right.
Every time he's on the screen, and I like Gomer Pyle. I love Andy Griffith. This is not... He was in the wrong place.
He wasn't cast right for that.
Yeah. Now, if you were wondering, hey, does Hal Needham make a cameo in the movie? Yes, and to show off how sophisticated he is, he's in the only scene in the movie that inexplicably shows a monkey backstage at NASCAR. Because I don't know if you know this, but at NASCAR, 90% of the work that gets done is done by monkeys.
Well, they call it a monkey wrench for a reason.
Monkeys were just in these movies. I think that monkey was in that movie because Every Which Way But Loose. I think there was a period early 80s where there was a bunch of monkey movies.
Sure.
Now, the Chicken Pit, which is the name of the restaurant that Ned Beatty owns, is basically Kentucky Fried Hooters based on who he has always doing these various promos. The one thing that made us laugh on this one is Burt Reynolds is given this to say in this commercial. The only thing I like more than winning a race is stuffing Torkel chicken into my face.
It's good stuff.
That is awesome. That was good stuff. And I just keep thinking how much better that would have been with Jerry Reed looking embarrassed off to the side, or Dom DeLuise kind of going, oh, that's good stuff. You know, yeah. Jim Neighbors, no reaction. Nothing. It doesn't see that this is an opportunity for you to build on the comedy. Nope, lets it lay. I'm like, there should have been a reaction shot there. You know, it could have been Hal Needham, too. Hal Needham, he needed to know, you need a reaction shot to a line that's stupid. But, you also get a bar fight scene in this movie. This is not as fun as Cannonball Run having the fight. This is like a bar fight scene where literally you feel like somebody went, yeah, this did well in our other movies, and we got that in there. You have John Biner, I think it is. John Biner was in there. He is the grown-up version of Doc. He has an extended scene with Ned Beatty as Miller Brewing, right, from Milwaukee.
Yeah.
He pretends to be working for Miller Brewing. That entire scene, you could tell they thought, this is the comedic moment. We got a top television comedy variety hour guy in here. This is going to kill. And I was watching it and just going, are they kidding? This is their... They let this out of the studio. They didn't say, let's reshoot this. I don't think they tested this movie. I really don't.
They figure they just put Burt Reynolds in there and you're good to go.
I don't think they tested the movie. Had they tested this movie, they would have said, hold it, because this wasn't a $110 million movie. That was, you know, all those Burt Reynolds movies, that's why they loved them. These movies, they were, you know, they paid money for them and they got good crews and all that. But it wasn't like a big sci-fi epic where they're just spending money. They would have reshot a couple of scenes if they thought they could save it.
The whole thing.
They would have had to. Now, I talked about Parker Stevenson as the villain, but the real villain is Ned Beatty. He is the one that attempts a rape on Lonnie. He's basically kind of puppet master throughout, trying to make Burt Reynolds do things. But here's the thing that's missing with Ned Beatty's character. What's his motive? He's just mean through most of it. It isn't like, oh, I think this is really going to help my brand. His chicken, the Torkel Chicken Company, is doing just fine.
It's true.
They're doing great. He's opening up franchise. He's going along. He doesn't need it, and he doesn't say, this is what's going to make me take out the Colonel. You know, he doesn't really talk about, I'm tired of being in second place to the Colonel. He could have said something like that, and you go, okay, so his thing is he wants a winner on his team. Got it. That's not what happens in this movie. So he has no motive. Now, for local Milwaukee people, David Hobbs has a long period in here. Did you recognize his voice immediately? Not. So David Hobbs is doing color commentary at NASCAR. David Hobbs owned a Honda dealership here in Milwaukee for years and did a lot of radio commercials. I heard his voice and I'm like, wait, is that actually him? Yeah, he was there in Stroker Ace. And if it was that and the Miller Brewing Company being mentioned, that kind of kept me awake through a long period of the film. Yeah. Now, let's get to
The score?
This piece here, no, we have something we like to call horror movie connection. If it will start. Let's see. Did it start?
Nope.
No, we got to hit it one more time. Now she wants to go. All right, so the horror movie connection. Holy cow, we got a bunch here.
A few.
We got Burt Reynolds. He, of course, is a Hall of Famer.
Yep.
He's been on for Cannonball Run and The Longest Yard. His only, out of 186 films, he has only had 3 horror credits. One of them was in the original Twilight Zone, so that's kind of cool. Ned Beatty, we talked about him last week. So, guess what? He's in the Hall of Fame, too.
Yep.
Out of 165 movies, he's had 5 horror credits. That puts him at a 3%. He's now leading for this movie.
And we said that Deliverance isn't exactly a horror movie, right?
Right.
Or where do we go? Where do we land with that?
It's being declared a thriller by IMDb. I'm being slavish to IMDb's horror.
All right.
Because I'm not going to go through 165 movies and just kind of go, oh, what do I think?
I get you.
IMDb has people that are paid to figure this stuff out. So we're going with that. But he was in The Exorcist 2.
Which don't even say that. We're never going to see any of those Exorcist movies. Did you see there's a new Exorcist out?
Yeah.
I've been seeing the commercials.
Want to watch it?
Nope, that's not pleasant to watch when I'm watching TV and then all of a sudden that pops up.
Oh my goodness. You poor dear. I thought you said I was being too easy on you.
Yeah, but there's a difference between being easy and being insane.
Jim Neighbors. Not a shock.
Shazam, Shazam, Shazam.
Yeah, he's a big loser. And then we got
that's so bad.
Parker Stevenson. He's been on the Hitchhiker series and he's done some TV movies that are horror, but only 4 out of his 63 credits are declared horror. I think the Hardy Boys, if you watch the Hardy Boys opening scenes, it actually looks like it's, it always looks like they're investigating a haunted house.
Yeah.
I
never watched them, so I don't know.
Yeah, I love that show. Lonnie Anderson, what do you think?
No idea.
I'm going to declare it that this was miss in IMDb because I was like, what the hell? 65 credits she had. 1 credit they declared horror. And I said, I don't buy it. I went and I checked. It was an episode of Amazing Stories. Do you remember Amazing Stories? Steven Spielberg decided in the mid-'80s, I think it was.
Nope.
To create an anthology show kind of like Twilight Zone. But unlike Twilight Zone, it was sci-fi and it was comedy. It was like a lot of different things. Fantasy stories. I do not believe for a minute that hers was technically a horror episode, so I am declaring that a no.
Maybe they meant horror.
Now,
do you think they meant horror instead of horror?
By that time, it probably did. So, our winner for the horror movie connection, of course, is this young lady who goes by the name of Cassandra Peterson. She has 33 horror credits out of 101 credits total. Do you recognize her?
Yeah.
Who is it?
That's Elvira.
That is Elvira.
Yeah.
She was in the most recent Munsters. She has done a lot of walk-on roles in horror movies because they want to have Elvira in their horror movie. My favorite credit of hers was not listed. It was the sequel to King Solomon's Mines, which was Alan Quatermain in The Lost City, I think, or The Lost City of Gold. This was with Richard Chamberlain in the 80s, which was kind of like a cheapo version of Indiana Jones.
Wasn't Sharon Stone in that too?
Yes, Sharon Stone was. Now, was she in the second one or the first one?
I think she was in the first one. Okay. I only saw the first one, so I don't know.
Yeah, Cassandra Peterson is in the second one. She is wearing as little as they could figure out to put on her. She does a fine job at that. But it's kind of a funny thing because she looks so sexy and then she opens her mouth and it's like, oh, right. She's just kind of in your face. It's
let me ask you a question before you leave her. If she were to be at Horror Realm, and this is legit, would she do her panel in costume or would she do it like that?
Most of the time, she will only put the... She has declared that she's put on the costume the last time approximately 85 times. She doesn't really like to do all the makeup and all the stuff.
Like for the signing, she probably would?
I will say she's quite a bit older than she was in the 80s.
Oh, well, okay. Thank you.
But she still looks
good.
Remarkable. She generally only puts on the makeup and the getup if there's going to be a photo opportunity.
Okay.
And then
makes sense.
And then you're paying through the schnoz.
Okay.
For it. And then of course we had Bubba Smith, who played Jack. Jack, not name, Jack Job, and just picks up cars at random in this. He's been in 56 movies, believe it or not.
A lot of police academies, I'm sure.
Yeah, Police Academy is a section of his filmography. But he's actually been in 2 horror movies, and one of them is one I love, Gremlins 2, The New Batch, which will be ending this season with Gremlins 1.
Ooh, look out, Gremlins.
I'm a huge
movie.
fan of Gremlins 2. Keep it up. Exorcist is in your future.
It won't be. I can veto any ones I want.
No, you can't.
Anyways.
Delusional. All right. So anyway.
Not watching Exorcist.
That's our... Hey, watch the language there.
I said Exorcist. Doomkolf.
Now.
Score.
Guess what? There's a Pauly Shore connection.
Really?
Think about it.
I can't think about it. I don't have a clue.
Burt Reynolds was in the movie with Ned Beatty called Deliverance, right? Ned Beatty, who was in this movie, so it's like one level of separation. I'm going to get that out of there. Ned Beatty was in the movie The Curse of Inferno with Pauly Shore, which means that the movie you've given me for the last 2 weeks has had a direct connection with Pauly Shore.
There you go.
Both of them.
Wow. You should buy a lottery ticket.
Congratulations on that.
Wait till next
By the way, this movie, before I give it its... Why is the... Hold on a second.
Trivia.
This is supposed to go there. We have to close it up. It received 5 Golden Raspberry Awards, this movie, which are like the opposite of Oscars. Nominations included Worst Picture, Worst Director, Worst Actress for Lonnie Anderson, Worst New Star, which was also Lonnie Anderson, but it won, it had 5 nominations. It won for Jim Nabors as the Worst Supporting Actor. I couldn't think of a better guy.
Who knows who he's up against, but you're probably right.
It was
because you panned him pretty hard. I mean, this
it was horrific, and it made me want to cry. So it's time for the score. What are you thinking? I'm gonna give it.
This is very mediocre. You're gonna give it a 5.
Mediocre? No, this was aggressively bad. It gets a 3
for Dale Earnhardt.
I liked it slightly more than Rudy, and I know you're going to say, well, you gave Rudy a 3, this should be a 4 then. Okay, then I'll go back and I'll change Rudy to a 2.
No, I'll take this.
Okay. Because I feel they're so close. If you were to say, what would you rather watch, Rudy again or Stroker Ace? I would probably say, I'll watch Stroker Ace, but honestly... If you could just hit me with a club a couple of times, that would probably be more pleasurable.
Now, let me ask you, do either of those get a better score if the guy who played Rudy plays Jim Nabors' character and Jim Nabors plays Rudy's character? Do either of those get a better score in those movies?
No.
Okay, just checking. No. Jim Nabors as Rudy.
I do honestly believe if they would have had Dom DeLuise or Jerry Reed instead of Jim Nabor, this movie could have been, it could have reached the level of mediocre.
Okay.
Instead of just complete festival. Okay, it would have been horrible. All right, you know what time it is, Jeff?
I do.
It is 7:40. Oh my goodness, it went way long.
That's okay.
Why did you let me do that?
Because we learn a lot. I get so intrigued by what you have to say.
Okay, well, most people do. All right, it is.
I'll make it quick.
Time, everybody.
Yes, this is the part of the show that I enjoy. So I'm Jeff Miller, and this is going to be the sports that I know. The biggest news of the week is the fact that Damian Lillard is now a Milwaukee Buck.
Who's that?
He's coming out of via Portland, and we snatched him away from the claws of the Miami Heat. So the Bucks are now the number one team to win the championship this year because of Damian Lillard. Next up, The next biggest news. The Milwaukee Brewers are Central Division champions in National League again this year. Well, they weren't last year.
Basketball, right?
No, it's baseball.
Oh.
They are the National League Central Division champions. They're going to have 3 games They're going to have 3 games at home starting on Tuesday. They're probably going to play the Cubs or whoever beats the Cubs out for that last spot. But Craig Counsell's got this team in a very good position. He's got his players playing the way they should. They're peaking, they're priming. They're gonna make it to the World Series. The Milwaukee Brewers will win the World Series this year. Don't give me Los Angeles, don't give me Atlanta, don't give me the Baltimore Orioles. Give me the Milwaukee Brewers 100 times out of 100 times.
Wow.
The Green Bay Packers put a win under their belt. They're 2-1 on the season. Jordan Love won his first game at Lambeau Field. They beat the Saints last week. No, they didn't. Yeah, they did. They beat the Saints last week 18-17. Good, a really great comeback. They scored all their points in the fourth quarter. They're playing tonight right now, so when I got to get out of here, I got to watch the game. They're playing the Lions at home. And by the way, the Lions, this is the first time in 37 years that the Lions are coming into Lambeau Field facing QB1 and are favored by 2 points. Figure that one out. And one last note, this is a historical note. On this date in 1955, Jackie Robinson was called safe in Game 1 of the World Series. Watch the tape. He's out. Yeah, I'm Jeff Miller, and that's the sports I know.
All right. And I hit too many buttons once again.
That's what she said.
Yeah. So, it is time now for Jeff's actual favorite part of the show.
Yes.
Because this is all I get to hear about.
Oh, you got a little basketball.
Let's make some merch money. I'm thinking about getting coasters, and I'm thinking about getting tumblers, like Yetis. I don't know, man. I think we got a market going. I don't know.
Where's it? Yes! Stanley
Open it up, Mosquito style!
I would love them to bring back, when I'm mayor, we will be bringing back Dandelion Park.
That was, they tried bringing it back. That was bad.
Yeah, but you know what? No. When I do it, I do everything aces. It will be done correctly.
Hey, folks, we're only 154 days from Horror Realm coming March 1st. We're the only people that do a countdown from half a year away.
That's awesome.
But we have a ton of great stars that are coming out for Horror Realm, and that's just the 2 of us.
Exactly.
There's also other celebrities. And you're seeing their names float through. Or you can go to horrorrealmcon.com and find out about all the great heavy hitter celebs that are going to be coming out to Pittsburgh this year. It's almost a dream team of
it is. This
great celebrities coming out this year.
This is one of the better lineups. I mean,
yeah,
I think so. And the thing of it is that this year, Tim and I we've stepped it up a little bit. We are going to let you know when we're leaving Muskego. So if we want to all caravan out there, we are going to convoy out to Pittsburgh.
Convoy.
That's right. Breaker 19. I've got a CB in my Jeep. I'll be leading the pack. You guys want to drive with us? You can.
Where does this stuff come from?
We talked about this.
No, we did not. Well, I've never been capable of getting you to get back in line, so.
Dumgoff. I know nothing.
Oh my goodness. Hey folks, Jeff saw a movie too, and
I did.
He's gonna try to go quickly because I went too long.
I can make this.
Why did you stop me?
Because I was actually learning a lot.
Okay.
I was enjoying it.
Go ahead.
So here we go. I saw a movie this week. It's called The Hidden. It's 1987, year after I graduated, the year that Timo there graduated. An hour and 37 minutes, right in that sweet spot. A minute longer than Stroker Race. So Tim and I had about the same amount of time we had to watch our movies. So The Hidden. So there's going to be a lot of things that
you had fun, and I was dying on the inside.
I don't know if I had that much fun. This movie. So, okay. So in this movie, this is a movie that's going to be. I don't like comparing it to The Thing because I don't like that because I think The Thing movie is fantastic and this movie is just okay. I mirror this a little bit more like They Live. So the thing of it is that in this movie, there's these people. Okay, so I got to collect my thoughts here. So in this movie, the reason why it's called The Hidden is because whatever alien came down from outer space is hiding inside of people, right? So it's hiding inside of a person, and then what happens is this person acts like an idiot. I mean, they go in and they rob banks, they steal cars, they get on hookers or dancers, whatever. But it's just what it is that whatever the thing likes, whatever inside the person likes, they want. So if he likes this red Ferrari, boom, he's going to be driving this red Ferrari. But what happens is that I'm not going to give it away, Tim. Don't worry. But what happens is like whatever's inside of them that's possessing them, which by the way, when you watch this, did you not notice that the way that the actors were, I like the way the actors acted when they had the stuff in them, but didn't it seem like the guy in Men in Black, the bug guy, didn't they kind of walk like he walked kind of disjointed? And it was, so I could relate to that. And I did like the fact that I could tell what was going on. I wasn't completely in the dark. Right. But so when this alien creature gets inside, if something happens to the person, okay, the alien creature has to get out and get into another body. Otherwise, it will die itself. Correct. But it does, Tim. You can make that look. That's fine.
I'm always making this.
I know. Look. But the thing of it is that it's got to find something else. So it wants to live. It doesn't want to die, just like all of us. But the cool thing in here is that there was a flamethrower, and the flamethrower.
I called it.
The thing about the flamethrower, I saw in the beginning.
I also gave you a movie with a dog in it.
Yes, but we'll get to that in a second. The thing about the flamethrower is I saw this in the beginning, and I'm like, yes. And then I don't see it anymore, and I'm like, oh, what a tease. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So we'll just leave it at that, all right? But yes, it has a flame. Any movie that has a flamethrower in it. Now, if Stroker Race had a flamethrower in it, probably would have put it up some notches.
That probably, you know what? And if the flamethrower took out Jim Neighbors, that might have got it even more.
There you go. So, anyways,
Kentucky Fried Gomer.
So what?
Golly!
Crispiest chicken in the South. Okay, so anyway, so what happens is
something I like even more than a race is burning up Jim Neighbors' face.
There you go.
Right up.
So
bango.
So anyway, so the way this movie opens up, it opens up with a bank robbery, but you quickly find out that this is where this creature has come from, and that is one of the grossest scenes I've ever seen. when the alien creature is leaving one body and going into the next one,
which is why it's a horror film.
It's like the guy's taking. He's going number 2 out of his mouth into another guy's mouth. But it's coming out of his mouth, so it's gross. It's one of the gross.
It's like a human centipede.
That movie I won't watch either. I actually gagged when I saw that part of it. I had to turn away. I couldn't watch that scene.
So you get one veto, and you won't watch Human Centipede or Exorcist.
Well, if it came down to those two, I would veto. I would veto Centipede because that just grosses me out. Think about right now. I want to gag.
Oh, perfect.
So, anyways, back to this. So
now I know my strategy to get Exorcist.
But here's the thing, though, Tim. You got to help me out with this. So So when the FBI guy comes, I think.
Oh, here he come. Okay.
So the FBI guy, right? Let's get some names down here.
Kyle MacLachlan. plays Lloyd Gallagher.
And he teams up with the cop Michael Noure, who plays Tom Beck. All right. But honestly, I could tell that Kyle was off. I could just tell he was off from the very beginning. I knew that there was something strange about him.
You know how you knew that? Kyle MacLachlan's like a really good actor.
Yeah.
He's very good.
Well, he fit this role perfectly. He did a great job in this role. I thought his performance was top notch. He had the best performance of all of them.
Oh yeah.
You know what though? So the thing of it is that he's acting weird, and I'm like, okay, when is the big reveal going to happen? When is this going to happen? I wanted to know. I wanted to know. I don't like being put in the dark when I know something. Mm-hmm. So he's playing a part that he's also an alien, but you just can't figure it out to that point. It's a good
spoiler.
Well,
I'm messing with
okay, good. But it's like kind of like it turns out to be more like a buddy cop movie in a way. Right? I mean, wouldn't you say it's kind of like a buddy cop movie?
No, I'm just thinking maybe we should rename the show Jeff Spoils Movies.
I didn't spoil this one yet. I didn't say anything about how they kill him at the
end. Stop it.
Okay.
Anyways, go back to your review.
All right, so back to my review. So this entity is jumping from body to body, and finally gets into this stripper, Brenda Lee Van Buren, Claudia Christian, which was kind of a cool concept to get into a stripper. I kind of like that. It was kind of neat because you're not seeing a stripper.
Well, she's attractive.
But if you think about this, though, she is. But when you think about this, now think about this. When you're thinking, she goes into the parking lot and she gets on with that one guy. But
let's get it on.
But what does that remind you of? Species. Because remember, she was an alien. Look at it. Look at what I'm picking up out of these movies, man. I'm picking up what putting it down.
Wow.
So, but then the twist gets even tighter. So I told Tim about this.
I don't know. She wasn't tight.
Here's the thing. Then
no, it isn't the thing. It's the hidden.
But I have to say this though. The entity leaves it and also tips off another movie, another homage to another movie, The Thing.
With the dog.
With the dog.
Yep.
So that dog scene was
pretty
intense.
In fact, at one point, the dog jumps over the camera, which is very reminiscent of a shot in The Thing.
So do you...
Which because you watched The Thing, 30 times in 1 month?
It was 21 times.
Okay.
but Tim, do you think that they did pull from these other movies? Well, not the Species they didn't, but do you think they pulled some stuff from The Thing?
I think they were stealing from everything they could. This is a lower budget film.
Didn't the tentacle that came out of his arm, didn't that remind you of The Thing also?
Oh yeah, the sound effect sounded like it too. It was kind of like this. It was scary. Yeah. It was scary.
So here's the thing. It wasn't that scary of a movie for me.
Here's the hidden.
Here's the hidden. It wasn't that scary of a movie. If you want to get into this is more like sci-fi. It's not really it's not really horror. So this is another one where Tim takes it easy on me. But all in all, it was put together okay. I kind of let down from the week before with Nightmare on Elm Street. I was expecting more out of this, and I was kind of like kind of like blah.
I really enjoy this film, so I was hoping you'd like it.
It could be enjoyable for some people, and for some people it's just pedestrian. But I have a horror
from the chat room.
Yeah,
Jeff would like to get into a stripper.
Funny. Why is your mom talking about stuff like that?
Mom wanted the convoy to turn into a bus trip.
We could do that.
No.
Now back. But I have a person in this movie that was in another movie. She's an all-star.
In another movie that we've watched on the show?
Yep, we watched it just last week.
Yeah?
Her. She was the
Okay, the people that are watching don't see what you're pointing to.
Lynn Shane, who plays Carol Miller in the movie. Last week she was the teacher in Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah. In this one, she's the congressman's helper. PR. Yeah, PR person. Yeah. So there you go. She was also in like Boat Trip and.
Now, do you know why she was in both movies?
You'll tell me, and I'll be amazed.
Let me just check. I don't have that as my trivia question.
And we have another All-Star. I don't usually pull out the All-Stars, people, so when I have them, I want to use them up.
Okay. This was also put out by New Line Cinema, which was the people that put out Freddy, the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Her brother is the head of that studio, so he was also the producer on this one. So. And
then Dwayne Davis, who plays Eddie, also played in The Program, another movie that we've had.
Really? Yep. Okay. All right. So.
I'm bringing it this week, folks. I'm bringing it this week.
Now, was he the one African-American cop that's in the movie? Do you notice every time they put the camera on him, he's checking his tie?
Yes.
He's just constantly stroking his tie to make sure it's laying flat, which on repeated viewings, I know what they were trying to do, but it didn't.
No.
It was too subtle. The tie thing, that was just, this guy was fastidious. If you noticed, every time the Hidden moved from body to body, did you notice that they did the same thing at one point?
No.
Every one of those characters will put their tongue just a little bit over their teeth like this.
Are you making this up? Or you?
No, because that was something they could teach the dog to do.
Ah, okay.
Okay. So every one of those characters at one point after they make the move, a little bit of tongue action there to let people that watch the movie more than once to notice, oh, okay. Because, like when you watch The Thing, a lot of the question is, where's the thing? Where's the thing? They did not want that problem with this movie. They wanted, and it's not a problem in The Thing. That's the whole point of the movie, The Thing. In this movie, they wanted everybody to be sure, oh, now he's moved. So they would have each character just kind of look at this. They basically look into the camera and go.
I'm just confused. I am more confused now than I was when I watched it. I really am. I just don't get it. So they did that so you know who had the thing in them?
Right.
So if you didn't have your tongue out, you were fine.
It was just, it was like a facial tic that they moved with the Hidden. When the Hidden moved from person to person, that it was something that they each did. You also notice that some of these characters were pretty fast talking, like Beck's partner.
Yes.
That was going, he talks a mile a minute.
Yeah.
The minute the Hidden is inside of him, he can only say like half a sentence at a time, and that's about it, because the Hidden isn't a big talker.
Huh.
So.
All right.
Pretty exciting, ain't it?
Now that you mention it, I might have to. No, I won't watch it again.
Yeah. Okay.
So I had those connections.
Did I have anything
else?
Awesome. We know that.
Wait, did I have anything else about this?
I think it's time for you to score, brother.
But real quick, give it a shot, people. Give it a shot. I'm not the best when it comes to that, but I think we can do better.
Okay. So what did you score it?
What do you think I scored it?
I don't know. It sounds like you were okay with it, but you didn't love it. So I'm thinking 5 or 6.
5.
5?
Yep.
Okay.
There's plenty of room on both sides of this one.
Okay. So 3 and a 5. So this is not one to write home about this week's episode. Nope. But we do have our next scene, which is our trivia, which I hit that one. There we go. Something worked today.
Yep.
So the way the trivia works is we're each going to say 3 statements, and who we're saying 3 statements to has to figure out which one is a little fibber, which one's a lie.
I'll go first.
Okay. And this is about stroke or race.
Yes.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
Right.
Okay. The term stroker in race terms is actually a part that the stroke of the piston that increases the stroke of the piston inside the cylinder of the engine. Try saying that. Boy, I haven't been.
Well, you tried.
Yeah, I did. I didn't write it very well. Jim Neighbors has a connection with auto racing. He has actually sung Back Home Again in Indiana for the Indianapolis 500. And Lonnie Anderson and Burt Reynolds actually met during her Playboy shoot in 1973.
I'm gonna go right ahead and say Lonnie Anderson did not pose for Playboy.
You think she was never in Playboy?
I know she was never in Playboy.
Don't bank on that, but you're right. That's not the answer. That answer is false. She was in Playboy. She was in Playboy in 1999.
Was she?
Women of the Small Screen.
Wow.
Actually,
that's surprising. I didn't think she would ever do it.
It was more or less she had a bikini on, but she was in Playboy. It was
okay.
Women. But actually, Burt Reynolds and Lonnie Anderson met shortly before this on the Merv Griffin show.
Yes, and Burt Reynolds was on every talk show back then and he famously had a thing going with Dinah Shore.
Mm-hmm. She was like 20 years older than him.
Yes, she was.
And then one more quick thing about Jim Nabors.
He liked it.
One more quick thing about Jim Nabors, because I think it's very interesting that he has sung Back Home Again in Indiana for the Indianapolis 500 from 1972 to 2014. He would open up the race by singing that.
Really?
That's pretty cool. That's a good little stint right there.
He does have a beautiful voice.
Mm-hmm.
He just can't act. Outside of Gomer, he plays Gomer.
I could play
him that well in this one.
Do I have to turn away when you ask these?
No, because I'm blocking it pretty good.
No, I'll just still turn away. I don't want to be accused of anything.
Michael Nouri, that's the guy that played Beck.
Beck, not the singer.
Yeah. He's of Iraqi descendancy.
He's of what?
He's an Iraqi.
Okay.
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 The director of the movie, Jack Shoulder, also directed a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. One of the 8 or 9 that were made.
Okay.
Okay. And Kyle MacLachlan is a British actor. Those are the 3. Michael Nouri, Iraqi. Jack Shoulder, Freddy movie. Kyle MacLachlan, British.
Which Freddy movie was it?
I'm not going to get... You do this all the time.
And when you say
I am not helping you. You just have to suffer.
And when you say he's a British actor, do you mean he's acted in Britain? Or he's born in Britain?
Of that descendancy.
Okay. So we have 2 descendancies and we have a Nightmare on Elm Street. Mm-hmm. Michael Nouri, does he even look like he's like Arabian? I don't know. Michael Nouri, but the name is Nouri. Nouri of the Nouris. But then McLachlan sounds like it could be Mac, like he's like O'Malley or something. So I think the one about Elm Street is probably true. And these other ones though, who would even think that? You know what? He could be British. He was kind of weird. He could be British.
So British people are weird. Hold on, let me write that down.
Except for the Spice Girls.
Right.
Let me see here.
Who you loves and respects.
I do. Baby Spice. Okay, so Kyle MacLachlan. You know what? I know what you're doing here. Those are the 2 true ones. The false one is going to be the one about Nightmare on Elm Street because you're going to think that I'm going to think one of those is false. Nightmare on Elm Street is the false one. Oh.
Actually, Jack Shoulder directed Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
Oh my gosh.
Which is probably the worst of the series.
Is he not British?
He is not British. He was born in the state of Washington.
Oh, I was going to say that too, but then I thought you were getting tricky on me.
Michael Nouri is very Iraqi.
Yeah, you can see that in his...
Yeah. You can see it more in his old picture. That's why I'm sitting there and you're looking at the IMDb page and I'm like, oh, does he look... He looks very Middle Eastern.
You know what? I should have stuck with the British one. I was going to say that one too. Damn it.
Yeah, sorry.
That hurts, especially with me not scoring as many points as you this week.
That hurts, and I know what movies he got coming up, so it's going to continue hurting. So let's take a look at that scoreboard once, shall we? Let's bring that up. Let's see if that works.
Damn it.
And let's see. So we had the horror movie got 5. The sports movie got 3. I got the trivia. Jeff did not. I have a lead, but this is by no means insurmountable, Jeff. You just have to get a trivia right and start picking better movies at the beginning of the year.
Well, I can't pick movies now. It's already been picked.
Why is that gray there? Look at that. There's a gray box where the score should be. I'll just tell you what it is. I have 31 and
Jeff has 32.
23.
Oh, so you're saying I'm
Thank
dyslexic?
you. I'm saying something.
No, I have 22.
I had 23. I don't know why that didn't load. That's really odd. Let's try. I want to. This is just bothering me now. I'm going to try to reload it. Aha. There's our problem.
Brewers won today, by the way, 3-0.
Did they?
Yep.
What about...
Win number 90 on the year.
What about our friends, the Packers?
While you're trying to make that work, I can find out. Let's see. In-game action from the sports desk. Dead on the Bases sports desk. We have the Packers. Oh.
This is elsewhere on Twitch, actually, right now.
What is?
The Packer game is
on Prime.
Being shown. It's also on Twitch. There we go. 31-23.
Packers are losing 24-3.
Yeah, but they don't score until the last quarter. This has been established. So don't worry about it.
That's not good, people.
Thank you for that analysis, Jeff. We go now to the preview.
It's not good for my fantasy.
Thought we go to the preview.
It's not good for my fantasy team.
Come on, preview. Okay, it's playing games. There it goes.
How about post view?
There we go. Preview for next week. I think we got a really good show lining up for next week.
Dog Soldiers?
And I don't know why everything is going so slow right now with
Dog Soldiers. This does not look good at all. This looks like this is going to be a werewolf movie or something. So,
anyway, the sports movie I get, why don't you tell me?
Yeah, you get 8 Men Out. This is actually a really good movie. This is about the 1919 Chicago White Sox that were named the Black Sox because of the scandal to throw the World Series. This is a really good movie. There's a star-studded cast, too. You have Charlie Sheen in there, John Cusack. You have the guy who played Frasier's dad in there.
The guy who played Frasier's dad is in there?
Yeah, you got D.B. Sweeney. That's about all I can think of right now. But it's a good movie. It's a good flick. You'll like it.
All right. And I gave you the movie Dog Soldiers.
I've never heard of this movie.
Dog Soldiers. A lot of people have that aren't you. They have. They've heard of it. And you have not. Dog Soldiers is indeed a werewolf film. It was made, it's either Australian or English. I'll have to double check, but I think it's Australian.
Do you have to read it?
So there are some accents, but you don't have to read it.
Okay, good.
And I think it's one of the more frightening werewolf films that has been made.
What are you doing?
So, were you not complaining this entire show about how I've been taking it easy on you? I think you're going to enjoy it because they're going after soldiers. There's a lot of action, man.
I think I'm already frightened. I'm frightened from the damn poster. That's a demonic-looking poster.
Did you like Predator?
I never saw it.
Oh, I got to add that to the list, don't I?
But doesn't that's a scary looking poster. I don't like that poster.
Oh no. Oh.
Last time he gave me
He's being too easy on me. Oh my God, there's a movie with mean dogs.
I can tell you right now how this is gonna go. Last time he gave me a foreign flick like this, it was Black Sheep. It was terrible.
Foreign flick.
So you said this is foreign. Right? They got Australians in there?
Oh, you got a foreign flick. All right. Well, that really is what defines the film. All right, everybody. It's time to close the crypt and call the game. Little note for everybody. We've been having some trouble with the feed. It has been, I believe, alleviated and fixed. But if you do have a problem, please drop me a line at tim@otherworldlyculture.com. Let me know so that I can check your exact issue. But as of right now, we're still on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, Pandora, iHeart, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, a couple other places as well.
And if you want to know what the new merch is going to be, reach me at jeff@otherworldlyculture.com.
Yeah, actually, if you want to, email back and forth with True Delusion, just go ahead and send that email in to Jeff@otherworldlyculture.com.
I cleared out my queue and the inbox, and it's fresh.
It's clear. It is clear. You did a good job.
Thanks.
All right, everybody. If it's sports, it's a home run. If it's horror, run home. We're dead on the bases, and we'll see you next time.
Otherworldlyculture.com. I don't even know. .com. I wanted to say something, but then
I was really pleased too because I hit the close button and it actually shot off on time.
I know.
I had 2 other of these today that didn't go off on time. They just would not come. I pushed and I pushed, I pressed and I pressed, and it would not come. I wanted it to come more than anything, but it wouldn't come.
Dummkopf!